Have you ever met someone who looks 10 years younger than their age? Not because of cosmetic surgery, not because of filters, not because of flattering lighting. There's something about them that simply feels younger. The way they move, the spring in their step, the clarity in their eyes, the smoothness of their skin, the openness of their posture, the depth of their sleep, the quickness of their recovery, the ease of their breathing, the sharpness of their mind. And then you meet someone else the same chronological age who seems, biologically, much older, more tired, more inflamed, more fragile, less resilient. The contrast is striking, and it points to one of the most fascinating shifts in modern medicine. We are beginning to distinguish between the age on your driver's license and the age written into your cells. Chronological age is simple. It's the number of years you have been alive. It only moves one way, forward. No pause button, no reverse gear. Biological age, however, is a different story. It's an attempt to describe how old your body actually behaves at the cellular, metabolic, cardiovascular, inflammatory, and functional levels. Two people can both be 50 years old by calendar, yet one may have the physiology of someone decades younger while the other shows signs of accelerated decline. This distinction is changing how scientists, clinicians, and informed people think about health, prevention, and longevity. For decades, medicine has largely asked reactive questions. Do you have diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, cancer? These are crucial questions, but they're often late-stage signals. Longevity science asks upstream questions. How fast are you aging? How resilient is your body when stressed? How well do you recover from bouts of illness, sleeplessness, or intense exercise? How much low-grade inflammation circulates in your blood? How healthy are your blood vessels and metabolism? How effectively are your cells repairing DNA and keeping mitochondria functioning? These earlier questions let us act before disease becomes overt and before function is lost. So what is aging, really? It is not simply the passage of time. Aging is accumulated biological change. DNA damage, mitochondrial dysfunction, chronic low-grade inflammation, loss of muscle mass, hormonal shifts, immune decline, the accumulation of senescent cells, reduced metabolic flexibility, and a slowing of repair mechanisms. These processes do not run at a fixed speed in everyone. Genetics play a role, but lifestyle and environment, sleep, stress, physical activity, nutrition, social connection, and exposure to toxins shape the tempo. Because aging is a collection of biological processes, many of those processes are modifiable. That's the hopeful part. Biology can be influenced. That's where biological age becomes powerful. It gives us a new language. Instead of asking only how old are you, we can begin asking how well are you aging? And what systems are losing ground? This reframing transforms aging from a passive march of time into something measurable, actionable, and often improvable. Can you truly reverse aging? The honest, nuanced answer depends on definitions. We cannot turn back time or erase every biological scar. We cannot become 20 again in every respect, but we can measurably improve many of the systems that determine biological age, reduce chronic inflammation, restore more efficient insulin signaling, increase cardiovascular fitness and mitochondrial function, deepen and regularize sleep, build and preserve muscle, improve autonomic balance, enhance metabolic flexibility, and raise overall resilience. In other words, while calendar years keep advancing, many internal markers of aging can move in a healthier, younger direction. That is what people mean when they talk about reversing the body clock. Not fantasy, not immortality, but tangible improvements in physiology. One of the strongest drivers of accelerated biological aging is chronic low-grade inflammation. Think of it as a slow-burning background fire, often invisible, rarely dramatic, but relentlessly damaging. Over years, it wears down blood vessels, disrupts metabolism, impairs brain function, weakens immune defenses, erodes muscle, and undermines cellular repair. Scientists have coined the term inflammaging to capture this marriage of inflammation and aging. The practical implication is straightforward. Behaviors that reduce persistent inflammation, good sleep, regular exercise, a nutrient-dense diet, stress management, and metabolic health are some of the most powerful tools we have to slow the pace of aging. Sleep deserves particular emphasis. Sleep is not merely rest, it is the nightly maintenance and reset that the body and brain rely on. During sleep, the body repairs tissues, the brain clears metabolic waste, hormones get regulated, the immune system recalibrates, and memories consolidate. Deep sleep supports physical repair. REM supports emotional processing and cognitive resilience. Chronic poor sleep doesn't just make you tired the next day, it accelerates biological wear and tear. If you want a quick, reliable indicator of long-term health trajectory, look at someone's sleep. Duration, regularity, depth, timing, and how restorative it is. Sleep is where tomorrow's biology is rebuilt. Heart rate variability, HRV, is another useful window into biological resilience. HRV reflects the adaptability of the autonomic nervous system, how readily your body can shift between activation and recovery. A high flexible HRV suggests a nimble system that can respond to stress and then recover. A low, rigid HRV suggests vulnerability. While HRV is not a direct measure of biological age, it offers practical insight into nervous system balance and overall recovery capacity, and it can be improved through exercise, sleep optimization, breathing practices, stress reduction, and adequate recovery. If there were a single closest thing to a longevity drug, it would be physical activity. Movement affects nearly every system linked to aging: cardiovascular function, mitochondrial health, insulin sensitivity, muscle mass, mood, inflammation, bone density, cognitive function, and sleep. But not all movement is the same. Aerobic exercise strengthens the heart and mitochondria. Strength training preserves muscle and bone. Mobility work preserves range of motion and function. And Zone 2 style moderate intensity aerobic training improves metabolic flexibility, the ability to switch efficiently between burning fat and carbohydrates. The right combination, endurance, strength, mobility, and recovery, creates broad resilience across systems that otherwise deteriorate with age. Muscle deserves a special call-out. Muscle is not vanity, it is a metabolic organ. It stores glucose, promotes insulin sensitivity, protects joints, maintains balance, supports daily function, and preserves independence. Age-related muscle loss, sarcopenia, is one of the greatest threats to a healthy, mobile life. Protecting and building muscle through progressive resistance training and adequate protein intake is not about bodybuilding, it is foundational longevity medicine. Metabolic health is equally central. Insulin resistance, elevated blood sugar, excess visceral fat, fatty liver, and high triglycerides accelerate biological aging. The body ages faster when energy regulation becomes inefficient. That's why someone with a normal body weight can still be metabolically unhealthy, while another person with higher weight can have robust metabolic markers. The future of longevity won't be about how we look in a mirror. It will be about how our metabolism and organs function. This is also where wearable technology becomes compelling. Wearables do not measure biological age directly, but they continuously capture the behaviors and physiologic patterns that shape it: sleep consistency and quality, recovery signals, resting heart rate, HRV, daily activity, stress load, readiness scores, skin temperature trends, and respiratory patterns. These devices turn the body's daily story into readable chapters. Used thoughtfully, they help answer key questions. Are you recovering, adapting, drifting toward resilience or erosion? At OXYZEN, we call this health intelligence, not data for data's sake, but context, interpretation, and pattern recognition. Connecting sleep to recovery, recovery to performance, stress to inflammation, and inflammation to metabolic health creates an actionable map for change. So what does reversal of biological age look like in practice? It means improved markers across the systems that define health span. Lower inflammatory markers, better glucose control, improved cardiorespiratory fitness, increased muscle mass and strength, better sleep architecture, higher HRV, greater mobility, sharper cognition, and more robust recovery. Those are measurable, meaningful changes. Importantly, they happen through sustained behavior change. Consistent sleep, regular movement, strength training, sound nutrition, stress reduction, and social and cognitive engagement, not through quick fixes. A word of caution: don't become a slave to the score. Many tools now promise epigenetic clock readings, biological age numbers, or wearable-generated indices. These can be useful as baselines and for tracking trends, but they are not the goal. The goal is the physiology behind the score, the habits and body systems that produce sustainable health. Obsessing over a single number can breed anxiety and distract from the real work: building resilience. Think of a biological age test as a compass, not a deity. Use it to orient your choices, but don't worship it. So what should you actually do? The evidence-backed pillars are simple, practical, and powerful. Sleep regularly and prioritize quality. Move every day and include both aerobic and resistance training. Preserve and grow muscle. Protect metabolic health through real food and informed carbohydrate management if needed. Manage stress with breathing, mindfulness, and social connection. Get morning light to entrain circadian rhythms. Prioritize recovery as seriously as training. Maintain meaningful relationships. Avoid smoking and limit alcohol. Keep learning and stay curious. These are not trendy hacks, they are the foundations of biological resilience. The future of medicine will ask not only how long we can live, but how long we can remain strong, clear, independent, metabolically healthy, emotionally balanced, mentally sharp, and physically capable. That is the true ambition of longevity, adding life to years, not just years to life. Your birthday will always tell one piece of the story. Your body, through sleep, recovery, inflammation, movement, metabolism, and resilience, tells another. And the remarkable thing is this: you likely have far more influence over that story than you imagine. I'm Dr. Yende. Thank you for joining me for another episode of OXYZEN Health Intelligence. Remember, you cannot stop time, but you can change how your body travels through it. I'll see you in the next episode.